Hello. I'm going to make a short video on uh, form factors for computers. Um, this is for not just like building a case, but for designing a laptop. And I've built computers for many years, so it's just something I wanted to uh, talk about since I have a little experience in building computers. So computers have standard cases. One of them is called the ATX form factor. It's the most common type of motherboard size. There are some pretty large ones, and you'll also see ones that are like micro ATX, mini ITX. Usually you don't see many that are like nano ITX or pico ITX, but if you go on something like Newegg and you want to look for motherboards, you can actually find some motherboards for like $50. Now, the most common size I would say would probably be micro ATX. They do sell ATX too, of course, so I would say those are the two most common ones. The reason I'm actually making this video is because I've seen a lot of interesting laptops with single board computers. So one of them is the Raspberry Pi, and about a year ago I actually uh, received a Pi Top, or I bought one, but I actually received one because I didn't actually buy the entire working laptop, but I got one on eBay. Um, so one thing what I found really interesting about it was that it has a little like space under the keyboard where you can install it, and I thought that was an interesting way to develop a laptop design, one that could potentially be standardized. Now, the thing about standardization, of course, is there's a lot of different standards that are preferred. So it can be difficult to, um, want to have a standard that other people would want to use because there's so many different, reasons for using or buying a Raspberry Pi. A lot of people probably aren't using it to build a laptop. But at the same time, there could be people who may want to use or want to build a laptop because they may need a keyboard and they may need a monitor, but they don't want to like put it all together. Um, so I'll go more into that later. I just wanted to just cover the overview of standard form factors and why I think they're really beneficial to like single board computers. This is another design. I actually have one of these. I bought one of these about 10 years ago, and this is an ITX mini ITX enclosure. So it's another type of computer case. It's a much more compact uh, computer case than the ATX. So with an ATX, you need a much larger computer case. So you have something. Well, that's actually a really large place where you would put the power supply. But sometimes the power supply is on the top, sometimes it's on the bottom. In this case, it looks like it's on the top, but I'm not 100% on that. Anyways, yeah, there's lots of different cases, and there's like a huge community of PC builders. If you go to like overclockers.com, there's a forum there, and there's tons of people that know how to build computers. So obviously, it's not like a small percentage of computer users, but it's also not like a huge percentage. I mean, there are people who know how to build them. It's nothing new. But what I just found interesting is that there aren't many laptops that actually try to design something. And the reason I found it so interesting is because there are some companies that try to make something that you can like repair or replace. So they say that it's repairable and upgradable, and they're really nice, elegant things. Now, I mean, I would say the reason you might wanna buy something like this is because you like the design and how they took care of some of the issues. Like, if you buy this platform, then all you have to do is just buy, the newer motherboard. But that motherboard is a very specific design, and it won't fit in any other laptop unless someone makes the same exact laptop. So what that is basically it limits you to that laptop, which might be fine. But if you look at the price of these, I mean, these are definitely the higher end ones, so I can see that they're around $1,000. But if you look at something like this, you could put it all together for about $700. So it's a little bit cheaper, but compared to, and of course the speed is going to be a lot faster. But if you just wanted to build something that can browse the web or use, um, you have just like some basic communication capabilities, you could build a Raspberry Pi laptop like this, and then you could upgrade this when something like a Raspberry Pi 4 is released. Now, I think they use the Raspberry Pi 3 here, and they may have a newer one. I think this one probably uses the Pi Top with the Raspberry Pi 4. So the only issue is that once a motherboard, a single board computer is released, like the Raspberry Pi 4, they don't have the same like mounting holes. And I mean, of course, this laptop was designed for the Raspberry Pi 3. It wasn't designed for the Raspberry Pi 4. So one opportunity for single board computer designers is they could try to develop or design, a single board PCB that has some arbitrary specification of where these mounting holes could be placed. And I mean, you may think, well, that's just so like, pointless, like that, like so insignificant, right? But I would argue, on the contrary, that allows you to reuse something like an ITX case. So you spend, $44 on this little portable ITX case. And it even includes like a, power, I think it includes a power adapter. Or you could buy it separately. But the point is, you don't have to buy everything all over again. So if you needed a display and you want to use this, but you want to install Raspberry Pi 4, you can, because the entire enclosure is, I wouldn't call it necessarily proprietary, but it's a very unique and non-transferable design. You can't really, install a Raspberry Pi 4 unless you modify it and you do all this, time-consuming things. So if you look at the back of this, if you look at the back of it, it does have like an I/O place where you can actually, have other things going out of it. So let's say instead of using HDMI, you want to use, DisplayPort. You could if this thing allows for it. So you don't necessarily have to use all the ports on it, because the way these plates are designed is that they can change according to what the motherboard has. So I made a little design here, and this is the front. Well, this is the side view. So if you're looking at a laptop, of course this is a really thick laptop. You know, I kind of split it up into different sections to kind of, you know, illustrate what is what could be modular in this case. So these laptops, like the Pi Top, it's in a way it's modular because it's not all like dependent on a specific single board computer being in here. Like you could connect something else as long as it needs to be plugged in to a power connector. So, you know, I made this little slide here: PC building and laptop building design. Modular is reductionism. It means you can reduce any component of the laptop to its individual, you know, components, and then you have a non-modular, non-reducible, where you have something like the framework. You're only limited to buying the parts that they designed to repair it. So, I mean, this is not something you would typically be able to buy on Newegg because, you know, not many manufacturers like Gigabyte, BioStar, ASRock, they're not going to design something just for, you know, framework or other, even open source laptop, because they could have something so specific that very few people that would actually find interesting. So one thing I'm just looking into an alternative would be to just focus on one component that could be standardized, and the first thing I thought would be the motherboard. So when you have something like, you know, a square or rectangular shape, it gives you a lot of flexibility, because of course you can you know, fit that within a very well-defined, you know, area of your laptop. Now, of course, you know, the height of some of these motherboards are definitely a lot higher, but I mean, it's not impossible that with PCBs that they become more miniaturized, and some of the dimensions kind of get like you kind of focus on those specifications that have to be low profile. So, you know, they make low profile video cards where you can fit them in smaller cases. The same could be with single board computers. So another thing is like if you have a display like an LCD screen, it's going to need some type of connector, and laptops typically don't use the same types of connectors that desktops use. So they would definitely have to have some sort of standard display. There's ones like DSI connectors, DSI display. So they have a type of connector that can be installed on various laptops. So they may not all look like that. They may have other types of you know, motherboard connectors, but it's usually on board, and it gives you a little bit more, you know, it gives you more options than having just one. So I know DisplayPort has one for mobile devices, but even then, sometimes they're not always compatible, so you can't always plug and play them. But that would be really one good avenue for adopting a specification like that, because if you were to combine that with something like a mobile ITX, you could potentially allow the space of that case to allow that flexibility and in having different types of connectors. So even though you're physically connecting it yourself, you could still design other single board computers with different connectors so that it may be more popular to adopt that standard, because that way you're not locked into that specific connector. So that's very important in my opinion, because if you're trying to sell a motherboard that is obviously different than what you may have wanted, um, or if someone else doesn't like that motherboard but it supports something that they may need, they may eventually go with that standard because it could be used sometime in the future and they wouldn't have to buy like an entirely new case. So yeah, that's really the basics of why a standard laptop could be designed. I think it has a lot of benefits for just reducing waste and also reducing um, just having to upgrade things that are still working. So if you have a laptop that you like, the keyboard works, the trackpad works, you don't really have to upgrade the entire laptop just because it's not running as fast as you like. And sometimes it's not always the computer that's running slow. I mean, that it's not always the processor that's slow. It could just be that the software, got upgraded and it no longer, it has more features, and because of that, the RAM, requirements are higher. So with a single board computer, they can embed all that on the actual board. It doesn't necessarily have to take up more size than something. Just because it's newer doesn't mean it's going to take up more size. In fact, I can even give you an example here. This is the AM4, which is about 5 years old, maybe 6 years old. I have one myself, and I spent about $40 for it. I remember it was an ASRock, something like this. So with adjusted for inflation, they don't cost that much more. I mean, here there's one for 39. Well, I guess with shipping. But I mean, these prices are still pretty impressive compared to what you would have to do if you wanted to just buy an entirely new computer. An entire new case with the RAM and all that. You might already have that, and your the laptop or the desktop you bought or built 5 years ago might have an older Ryzen 1600, and now you want to get like a 12 core you know 12 core 24 thread, I don't know, AM, whatever they have. But if you need something that's faster, let's say you're going to be developing software and you need all that RAM or something, you don't always have to upgrade everything. You can just maybe buy a new motherboard or and the chip, but you don't have to upgrade the power supply. And so compared to the AM5, of course, the prices are going to be a lot more. The starting price for an AM5, which uses completely new RAM, completely new chip processor, it costs much more. But at the same time, I don't think they necessarily have an ITX. Maybe they do. Yep. So they do have like an ITX. Well, I'm surprised they do. I guess so. So they do actually make the smaller ones for the newer ones. And and when you have a laptop, of course, if you're designing a single board computer, you wouldn't be necessarily making something so large like that. But the point is this gives you enough space to install a Raspberry Pi, and maybe the the computer processor is using a 28 nanometer instead of a 65 nanometer, 45 nanometer. So even though it's the same size, you could probably fit in a much faster microprocessor, and you could still use the same display. You may even be able to standardize where the USB goes, where the Ethernet goes. That doesn't necessarily have to change with every motherboard design or single board computer. But there's no reason why you can't just use something like an I/O plate, which gives you more flexibility than something where the back of the laptop has only defined little USB. Let me just see back view. So if you look at the back of this, there's no I/O plate here. You just have a USB Ethernet, which is probably all you're gonna need. And I'm sure there could be lots of laptops that or single board computers that might want to just use that same thing, and then you may have something for the power. Of course, now this power supply isn't the same because it doesn't go through directly to the Raspberry Pi. It goes to another battery and a power board. But I mean that's just a preference. It doesn't mean you can't do that or shouldn't. But if you wanted to design a standard laptop, you could put some space, make the space in under the laptop keyboard a little more flexible, so you can give people the option if they want to use something like a battery management system or just something that just powers it directly. So yeah, that's really all I had for this video. I don't really make videos often. I just make them when I think there's something worth covering, or something that hasn't really been covered very often, or just seems like there would be a really interesting new platform. It's just something that would be an interesting thing to develop. So yeah, thanks for watching.